Greetings. Last time we spoke on the identity and potential origin of one Chris P. Glutz, a character who arrived pretty much out of nowhere, gained a mysterious cult-like following in a very short amount of time, and was really the toast of the fragment scene before mysteriously disappearing with little to no contact after a very brief period. Um, it is worth pointing out, however, that positivity and a following is not the only attention garnered by the phenomenon that was Chris P. Glutz. In fact, up to the very day of the filming of this episode, another entity very much linked to the previously mentioned Glutz has been rather vocal, but against them. That will be the subject of today's episode, one Gotterdamerung.
Don't know about these herbs, do ya?
Good evening, everyone. This is a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming, and once again we are stepping into the weird happenings in the World Series. Our first episode focused on a heavy axe who goes or went by the name of Chris P. Glutz. Their current status is somewhat uncertain in the world, but a character who very much rose to fame and in some circles apparently a level of infamy in a very short amount of time. Today's episode will focus on a character who's every bit as mysterious, if not more so. Before we get too much into it, I kind of want to go into the origins of the name. Let's go ahead into the guilds here and show you a specific guild. You'll notice the naming is going to be different from just about everything else in here. The name of the guild is in what appears to be elite speak. Go ahead, raise your hand if you remember what that is. You won't look silly because I can't see you. But the word is redemption that they're going for. And if we go into their basic info, the leader there is a big long string of numbers and letters, and it comes out to read as Gotterdamerung, which is a word of German origin. If you're looking for the definition, it comes out to something akin to God's Twilight or Twilight of the Gods. It is also the name of the fourth in a series of dramas composed by Richard Wagner, The Ring of the Nibelung, one of his more famous works. As you can see, this guild is only populated by a single blade master, and that is in itself Gotterdamerung, which is why the guild level is at 99. He is a powerful character, to say the least. In fact, before we go any further into let's take care of the guild while we're here. There's nothing much in the way of guild assets. This is clearly just a guild for the sake of Gotterdamerung having a presence in the guilds. You see sort of a metal-looking flag there. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty badass. You just see the four crests there in different colors, and you see a comment written, and it's a bit of a cipher code. If you're wondering what it comes out to, it reads something akin to the following, starting with SGD there in the bottom right corner. It translates to, "The battle of your gods is upon the horizon. There is nothing to fear. Seek redemption." already we've got a rather cryptic start to this character's backstory. Um, Now let's go ahead back out before we dive too much into this and see if we can't just track down some information on our friend Gotterdamerung here by taking a look at the rankings. You would have to assume that if Gotterdamerung has logged in sometime recently, they're going to appear highest level overall and certainly one of the higher levels as a Blade Master, and sure enough, second on the list is one Gotterdamerung, so let's go ahead and take a look. So by the portrait, we've got sort of a Silver Knight artwork going on. Interestingly enough, the eyes are completely blacked out. Don't think I've seen that before. Their status is currently offline. They are a level 99 Blade Master. Position is Leader of Redemption. And their comment is once again Redemption, with a date in Roman numerals under it. Reads 20/12/20. Now, here in the United States, that's going to seem a little silly, but I do know that in other countries, the date as it appears shows the day and then the month and then the year, and that is exactly what this is showing, the 20th day in the 12th month in the year 2020. So we've got a promise of redemption that has been alluded to several times in various modes of text, and now we've got a date for said redemption. Also an allusion to a battle of your gods, and an assurance that there is nothing to fear from a man with no eyes in all the levels. So, who is this person? Short answer, nobody really knows. Well, perhaps somebody knows. I certainly don't. That said, I'm not satisfied with that answer, and I'm hoping you aren't either, so let's get into the bulletin boards. Go for a bit of a longer answer. If we pull up the threads list here, in general, we'll see right away who catches the attention of one Gotterdamerung as we're scrolling down the Children of the Glutes thread. We come upon a message from November 8th penned by Gotterdamerung, or typed by Gotterdamerung, if you will, in code and also in red print. The title translates to "This cult is based upon a lie," and the body of the message, only being one short sentence, says, "Do not trust the false gods." This comes a little over a week after the previous response by my Schnitt assuring people that the Children of the Glutes were on the up and up. Gotterdamerung would follow this up with another coded message. This one is titled, "It is coming for you," and underneath you will once again see, in different letters, but if you pick up the pattern of the phonetics, they are once again spelling out redemption. This time it is very clearly in code, and they made a special concession here to change from red font to yellow. Not really sure what exactly that's supposed to signify, but clearly they want that to stand out once again. Redemption, redemption. Now if we scroll a little further down here, you get a message from Siegfried, who we will touch upon here in a second, later in the episode, and he speaks a testimonial of one Chris P. Glutes. And my Schnitt and Mark Hunt mysteriously pop up out of nowhere. They had been silent for a little bit here, and they materialized just to have words with Siegfried about his account with one Chris P. Glutes. But right away, Gotterdamerung goes right after the children of the Glutes and specifically targets their leader, Chris P. Glutes, as the lie that this cult is based upon and as a false god. Getting a little further into this here, we can go down and we see an entire topic written in a similar code. Sure enough, it is started by Gotterdamerung. This is the first post I could find from them chronologically. It's November 2nd. Taking a look at the body here, you've got a somewhat brief composition. The title of the post is Something Wicked This Way Comes. And the body says, Your Valhalla shall be set ablaze. From its ashes, reborn a new era. Take heed to this warning, those who can read. And it says Tur, T-R-U-E, T-U-R-E, but I believe they meant to write true. And once again, you have 20, 12, 20. It didn't take too long to decode, as you could see right there. For those who were worried about me being some sort of ciphering genius, I just simply scrolled down and copied that. And that got into a little bit of speculation by everybody before Gotterdamerung would respond again. This is on the 8th, the same day that they had posted in the Children of the Glutes topic. They came back and posted another post here. This one's got quite a bit of text to it. Gotta reference my notes here, sort of going back and forth here. The body of this will read as so. Again, we're going to see this OBABJMQFLK a lot, and if you've been paying attention throughout what we've gotten so far, you'll recognize the pattern, not so much the letters specifically themselves, but the pattern, specifically if you look where the B's are repeating. In previous posts we had different letters repeating, like the W's under the It Is Coming For You post in the body. This is the word redemption again. And so the body will read, Redemption awaits us, redemption awaits you, redemption has already begun. False gods watch us with hateful eyes, false gods fear redemption, take heed the warnings. Scrolling down further here. The cult offers redemption. It is false. Love and hate seek redemption. It is false. There is only one redemption. We shall see who is deemed worthy of their redemption. What will be after heaven and earth and the whole world are burned? Ending one more time with 20, 12, 20. So now we're getting pretty cryptic with this, and certainly rather dire in tonality. We've escalated from just not trusting the children of the Glutes to promising that heaven and earth and the whole world will burn, and offering redemption, but only redemption to those who are worthy, and hiding the message itself in code. Very interesting indeed. And if we go further down here, again, message already decoded. In addition to referencing the cult once again and the false gods once again, There's a reference to love and hate. We won't be getting into that this video. We will get into that another time. Just not enough hours in the day to cover that at this specific moment. But there is only one redemption, even though they have mentioned the cult offering a false redemption and love and hate seeking a redemption that either is false or will turn out to be false. The only one true redemption seems to be at the hands of Gotterdamerung, at least as of this point. Moving back through here. As for Gotterdamerung itself and where it ties into Wagner's opera, it is a dramatic play, and it deals specifically with the death of the hero Siegfried, who was betrayed and falls at the lance of a member of his hunting party, an ally. He had sworn an oath, and through magical means a deception was lifted that caused him to break the oath, not of his own volition, but broken nonetheless. And that is where Siegfried ties in if we go back to the Children of the Glutes here. This Siegfried pops up on November 12th to say Chris is no hero. I watched him fall many times in battle. Then he told me I was not strong enough. Chris is no hero. We can only assume he means Chris P. Glutes here. No other reason that there would be a message like this in this specific section of the forums. To which I had mentioned Schnitt and Hunt had taken exception to this. Schnitt responds to this first post by Gotterdamerung, saying this is clearly the babble of a deranged individual, one who hasn't heeded the teachings of Chris P. Glutes, nor have they accepted the warm embrace of the Church. This is the result of unfaithfulness and blasphemy against our Lord. Heed this as a warning, for your own salvation lies with our Lord. A very stark contrast to simply asking people to give their following a chance. Schnitt sort of draws a line in the sand here. Mai and Gotterdamerung seem to be very, very clearly opposed to each other from the outset. Hunt, however, goes more towards Siegfried's post. Says, you see a holy visage of our Lord and let him fall? Fool, you have failed a test sent to you by him. It would seem that he wished to test your mettle as a fighter and determine if you would be able to fight as a sword of his own. This is disappointing. With training and by following his teachings closely, though, there may be room for redemption. Interestingly enough, you have a moment here where Mark Hunt, a disciple of Chris P. Glutes, one of the Children of the Glutes, offers redemption to Siegfried, as had been alluded in the earlier post brought up. Strangely, this comes 4 days after that. So the timing doesn't quite add up with Gotterdamerung having to see this post to sort of guess that's where they were going. Sort of strange that it played out that way on time. Now, I didn't really have much else for this episode, which was the reason I was kind of dragging my feet. And then, if you caught there for a brief moment, I was sort of dragging my feet. There was a bit of an update. There was a message posted just today, earlier this evening, and it's a coded message. We all kind of got to work cracking on it, and I will say I started decoding it myself, but others finished quicker than I did, so I just sort of filled in the blanks with what they had already. The red text there, LIMY, is sort of the key to the cipher on this. That's going to spell out Rose. And from there it says, "You seem to have eyes that see true," getting back to those that see true previously, as in people who can read these ciphers. "I would like to correspond with you in the future. There are those who know how to find me. I will be waiting." Missing the G in waiting, missing a letter there. But that seems to be where they were headed, and they were messaging it to Rose specifically, because if you look, Rose is definitely one of the people in on decoding. There have been a few sightings of Gotterdamerung. I don't really have a ton of information about them in general. But if we go down to the forums here, down at the very end of the BBS, we have a topic that says Blade Master Who Speaks in Code. And this was posted by Edge on 11/13, so the day after a good deal of the back and forth between Siegfried Gotterdamerung and the Children of the Glutes. Says, "Meet me in Mackerel server tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you see this." To which there is an answer pretty immediately by Gotterdamerung. The body of which he simply responds, "You wish to learn what redemption means?" Again, if you look down here, the key to this cipher is the word redemption, and the giveaway is the UHGH. You have those H's repeating in the 2 and 4 spots, so that's going to be our E's. I want to say these Japanese characters are one of... I'm not sure exactly, because I'm not too familiar with Japanese, but the title is pretty simply "We're Prepared, Mr. Number Boy," which comes off certainly full of oneself on that. You once again have the body of the previous post decoded. "You wish to learn what redemption means," and it says, "We're waiting for you, come on down to Mackerel." Midnight then chimes in with yawn. "Bored now, what else you got?" Apparently a meeting did happen around this time, because Edge gets on after, and actually thanks Gotterdamerung for the special item. Says next time maybe they can adventure, just let me know on the BBS. And then you have Izumo calling out to Numbers Man. Says, "Hadn't seen you in a while, Numbers Man. Was wondering when you were coming back. I want to meet you next time." So there are a group of players trying to well, this story just keeps updating, doesn't it? We just got done with Blade Master Who Speaks in Code, and here's a topic that says to Siegfried. So before we wrap up, I guess we'll go ahead and check this out. It is from a Maho, and is dated for 11/19. I'm filming this the evening of November 18th, but I do believe the forum's set to Japan time, local. So I guess this would be on time with that, simply due to the game code. The body says, "Dear Siegfried, please do not hold our unlucky experience today against us. We are friends, not foes, and have nothing to do with that heinous cult, the Children of the Glutes. North's nefarious leader, Chris P. Glutz. I'm sorry, that took me a little by surprise, just the over the top with the red text and everything. Um, Goes on to say, they are the scourge of the world. We must band together to stop them. Now is no time for reluctance. If you are willing to meet with us again, please respond. I fear we may not have much time. Um, Indeed, time does seem to be of the essence, as both of these sides seem to be clashing pretty heavily, and Gotterdamerung themselves seems to be alluding to something coming up in about a month's time. December 20th, the race for redemption. Uh, Now we have two factions directly opposed to each other. One speaking secretly in code, yet somehow drawing a very public following, and the other having a small initial following and being very friendly and outreaching at first, almost being shunned by the player base they're reaching out to. And things are coming to loggerheads between them very quickly. You have one side claiming the other are false gods. You have the promise of redemption and the threat of a cataclysmic event. That's really about the only way I could describe phrasing like Valhalla is burning or when heaven and earth are burned, and only those worthy shall get redemption. So these are some of the things we are going to be keeping tabs up with throughout this series here. But it's certainly an interesting thing to look at, and it's certainly worth keeping tabs on as it is currently evolving as we speak. That's where we're going to leave off for this episode, though. I hope you enjoy. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming, and we will see you in the next one.